Welcome. My name is Schyler Church. I am a California real estate broker as well as a member of the education department at Accredited Real Estate Schools. They are a private company that specializes in California for students to get their real estate license, either broker or salesperson license types. So what this video is going to encompass, we're going to discuss the actual steps to obtain your salesperson license in California. So remember, there are those two license types in California for your real estate license, broker and salesperson. Most everyone entering into the real estate field, though, will become a salesperson in California. They have to place their license under a real estate broker to practice, but once you have real estate experience, 2 years full-time within the preceding 5 years, you're then eligible to go for your broker's license, and that way you could work for yourself completely. But most everybody will become a salesperson, and then you can remain a salesperson throughout your career. And that's what we're going to talk about, is how to get the salesperson license. So you first have to fulfill the requirements. So there's education requirements as well as honesty, age, and residency. Once you fulfill those, you submit the application to the state, which is the Department of Real Estate in California. They will then approve your application. So the application is not electronic. You have to physically send it into them. They will approve it. It does take a few weeks for approval, but once approved, you're in their system, and you can then take the state exam. And once you pass it, you'll then receive your license. And we'll go through this process. And I have a bunch of different videos that go over the different types of licenses that we have. So the differences between salesperson and broker, as well as the packages that we at Accredited offer to fulfill these education requirements, as well as preparing you for the state exam, as well as the actual application process. So we have lots of videos. Make sure to check them out. This one is just the overall process to obtain the license as a real estate salesperson. So the requirements. You have to be at least 18 years of age or older. Now, I do want to let you know, in California, they actually do let you apply and take the state exam when you are 17, but you cannot receive a license, though, until you're 18. Residents, you don't technically need to be a resident of California. If you are out of state, then there's a separate form that you have to fill out, and just be aware of that. Also, citizenship is not a requirement anymore as well. But you do have to have either a social security number, a tax ID number, some type of identification from the United States government. That's important, as well as honesty. This is something that what we're talking about is a criminal background. So if you've been convicted of a crime or failure to disclose any criminal history and pending history may result in the denial of a license. I also have a video discussing this in depth, because this is a gray area of what the department will accept and what they won't, as well as what the frequency and also the time period when it was. So really important to keep that in mind, as well as education. So there are 3 courses, we call them statutory courses, that you have to complete to be eligible to go for your salesperson license. Now, 2 of them are mandated as real estate principles and real estate practice. So these 2 are set by the state. You need to complete, and they have to be California real estate principles and California real estate practice. Then there's 1 elective that you need to do, and you can choose from quite a bit of options. These are the ones that we actually offer at Accredited. Property management, legal aspects of real estate. So this is real estate law, real estate finance. It can't just be a general finance course. It have to be real estate finance, real estate appraisal, real estate economics. Please note, though, that actually macro or micro or introductory to economics, those count, even though those are general economics courses. They do not need to be specifically real estate economics, as well as general accounting does count as well. We don't offer them at Accredited. We just offer the real estate economics, but a general accounting and general economics courses usually do count as well. Escrow, mortgage loan brokering and lending, as well as business law. So these are some of the electives that you can pick. These are the ones that Accredited offers, and you would just need 1 of them. And so there are a total of 3 courses. 2 would be a principles and practice, and then the 3rd one is the elective. And keep in mind, if you've done some of these classes in college, they can count. You would need to get an official transcript. and then submit that to the state, and then with a certificate, for instance, from the school you went through for the other courses that you have to complete. But you can do all three of these courses, so principles practice and your elective, through a college. You can also do them through a private school that is directly approved by the Department of Real Estate, so a school like Accredited, for instance. And then there are requirements that need to be followed with completing those courses, but once you've completed them and you have your certificate or your official transcript, you're then fulfilling that education requirements. At that point, once you've met all of those requirements, you would submit the application to the Department of Real Estate. So you would fill out the appropriate DRE application, making sure it is completely filled out as well as correctly filled out. And you send it to the DRE, so either fax it or mail it. And you'll have to also include the applicable fees and other documentation. So this would be, your certificates, your transcripts, the fees, and if you're doing the combination application where you pay for the license and exam up front, then your live scan fingerprinting, for instance. So just at this point, you would want to refer to our how to apply video, because that goes in depth over the application process, the different types of applications, and this is where you would want to focus on it. Just make sure to follow all instructions, and that the processing timeframes are usually between 2 and 8 weeks. Realistically, it's about anywhere from 5 to 7 weeks right now is really what it's been averaging over the last few years. Sometimes it can be 2 to 3 weeks if you're lucky. Sometimes it can be up to 10 to 12 weeks. Just depends on how fast the department's processing. And then the DRE will approve the application. So once they've submitted everything, and they've checked off that you've met all the requirements, they will approve your application. And it depends, though, of how you filled out the application. Usually on the application process, you're going to want to fill out that you want to self-schedule by using eLicensing. So you would hit yes on question 14. And then what they'll do is they're actually going to email you that when your application's been approved, that you can self-schedule. Otherwise, the DRE will assign you a date, and that's what the remaining portion of this application section is discussing. So just know that I highly recommend to self-schedule. So you'll want to hit yes for the examination information. They don't notify you by mail anymore. It's actually by email. They will mail you, though, a response if your application's incomplete, and they call it pending. So they need additional information from you to proceed with processing your application. So once it's approved, though, and you've either self-scheduled or have been given a state exam date, you'll take the state exam at the selected location. So in California, they have 5 locations. You have to take the state exam at one of their 5 locations. So either in Sacramento, Oakland, Fresno, Los Angeles, or San Diego. It is electronic, so it's on the computer. It's not paper format like it used to be back in the day. So it'd be at their location on their computer. 150 multiple choice questions. You have 3 hours to complete it. The biggest thing to make sure to know about it, though, is that you do need to get a 70% to pass, but it's a weighted 70%. So you just can't get 70% straight across the board of the questions of 150 correct to pass. The questions are weighted differently. The areas that the state the state exam constructs it based off of 7 areas. So how much from the 7 areas depends. They've never actually disclosed how the exam is weighted, but just know the questions are weighted differently, how the conceptual areas are referred to within the state exam, that's weighted. So you have to be proficient in all the material. You might get lucky, though, and get a state exam that's relatively easier, but just know, no matter what, the state exams, they are challenging. It's tricky. The questions are tricky, but as long as you have the right material and you put a proficient amount of time into studying it, you will pass. So just make sure you put the time into studying and that you're studying the right stuff, and you'll be able to pass the exam. But it is challenging. It has a very low pass rate statewide. Be prepared of that. So as long as you put the effort into it, you will pass it, because it's a doable exam. It's just a challenging one. And then if you want more information regarding the specifics of the actual state exam, please see the California Real Estate Salesperson state exam video, as this will go into it more in depth as well. So like those 7 areas we were talking about, as well as actually, what the day of the exam consists of. Then once you've passed that state test, they'll tell you at the immediate results, your California real estate salesperson license will be issued and you're now licensed. Do note though that depends on the actual application that you filled out originally when you submitted to the state. So if you did the combination where you paid for the exam and license up front, then you'll be actually getting your license that day. But if you only did the exam only application, at this point you've passed, but you then need to submit for the license portion of it. And once the license portion is approved, you'll then be licensed to practice. Remember though, as a salesperson, you need to place your license under a real estate broker. So to actually be able to practice as a real estate salesperson, you need to find a broker. So also during this time period, I do recommend interviewing and finding a broker that you feel like is going to be the best fit for you. And as well, make sure to know that how to apply video goes over this application process more in detailed, as well as a lot of our other videos too. So this is a little bit of the information. Just know though, I'm not affiliated with the Department of Real Estate, so we do not cover all the stipulations. If you're wanting complete and accurate, up-to-date information, always refer to the Department of Real Estate. I have their website as well as their phone number here for you. They are the government agency that issues the license. So if you're wanting complete information, always contact them. Just know I'm with Accredited and this is general info and a great starting point to get an idea of the process. And if you have questions, you can always call us at Accredited as well, and we'll be glad to assist you. I thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please let us know. Here's our contact information at Accredited. But I look forward to hopefully seeing you with a real estate license soon.